Team Awesome is back! That's right, it's time for Tangled Talk with Team Awesome. Episode 6, Vigor the Visionary. Okay, can we just start this episode by saying, oh my god! Like, I cannot describe how much I love this episode, especially for one that is like, it feels like filler, but it also feels like it's more than filler, you know?
It was so good.
And, okay, so this one is directed by Steven Sandoval and written by Ricky Roxburgh. The storyboards are done by Steven Sandoval and Anna Lencioni. Honestly, I'm going to say that I love the way that they found a way to not have all of the characters in an episode while they're on the road. Because, like, it's not that I don't love everybody, but it's really refreshing to know that we aren't stuck in a format, you know?
And what better way than with a new dream date? Like,
okay, like, thank you, Ricky, for writing that new dream date that we have been screaming for.
Thank you.
Because how many times have they brought up going on dates? And we keep going like, so can we see one of these dates?
You keep bringing up these dates.
They almost went on a date, and then, like, Rapunzel was possessed, so that kind of ended that right there, you know? So, yeah, it's I love that we finally got to see a date. I love that in that first opening scene, for, like, the first 2 to 3 to 4, however many shots it was, like, Eugene could not wipe that grin off his face.
I know, he was so smiley!
Freaking thing. And for the whole episode, they were so touchy-feely for the whole thing.
Oh, she was all over him. It was so good.
I love that we got our date. And I love that the date, even though there was plot, it, like, kinetically felt like it extended through the entire episode. Because of that whole touchy-feely thing. Every time they weren't presently riding the horses, they were being all touchy-feely. It was so great. And as soon as the whole adventure was over, they're like, so, back to that date we were having, you know? So it was so cute. Yes, it was so cute. We finally got our date.
So cute and so unexpected. Like, that was my favorite part.
Like,
they opened it up and I was like, oh my god!
I have this one friend who always stays up until midnight and watches it with me, and he's on the East Coast, so he stays up until 3 in the morning to watch it with me every single week. And as soon as it started, his loaded before mine. And so his comment was, 10 seconds in and you're going to love this episode. I'm like, 10 seconds in, huh? He's like, oh, so on this date we're having.
Well,
oh my god, I love this episode.
I watched it at, like, I think it was like 1:30, and I texted you guys when it was done, and I was like, ah! But I didn't want to say anything else, but I was like, oh my god. I'm like, you're gonna love it. Bye!
And I also really love in this episode how, like, I've been saying for a while how odd it is that Eugene got used to the whole magic idea really, really fast. Like, in the movie, he apparently has never seen actual magic in his life, otherwise he wouldn't be freaking out. And then he just rolls with it for the entire series, except for when her hair grew back, he just rolled with it for the whole series. And this time, he's faced with a mundane kind of magic that he has probably actually dealt with in his travels, fortune-telling. And he's like, dude, I mean, I almost expected him to say that he's pretended to be a fortune teller, or that Lance has pretended to be a fortune teller, so that he knows it's hokum. Because I've been on that end of the con before, you know? And so I love that this goes to show, it reminds me, honestly, of Indiana Jones, because people have said of the Indiana Jones movies, with all this magic that Indiana Jones deals with, how come he still doesn't believe in magic? He believes in magic on a case-by-case basis, and so that kind of reminds me of how Eugene is handling things. He believes in magic hair because he's seen magic hair work. He believes in the black rocks because he's seen the black rocks work. And so when he's faced with this, like, fortune-telling, which he has known for a fact to be completely fake, he has no reason to believe it to be real this time. And even at the end of the episode, he's still skeptical about it. Because he has seen more examples of it not being real than it being real, you know? Incidentally, Indiana Jones also hates snakes, like Eugene.
Yeah, that was the very first thing I thought of when he said that line.
that heralds back to, in like Flynn, how he had the map of Equus, and on the map of Equus, he had this little doodle of a snake that just said snakes. I hate snakes. And it's like, oh, there's an Indiana Jones reference. That's so cute. But that like got called back into this episode but it's like, it's not like Lance's fear of spiders. This is more like a healthy fear of things that will kill you if they bite you. Most spiders are not going to kill you if they bite you. And he's just like, nope, keeps a cool head, but he talks about disgusting things without legs or shells or, you know.
No. They're just really long turtles with no shells or legs.
Yeah.
So cute.
I love that.
So he just, so it's not like he's going to scream and pass out the way that Lance does, but he just has this really healthy aversion to snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, so now, first he's been, you know, the man in black from Princess Bride, now he's being Indiana Jones. I'm fine with them continuing to make Eugene all these various fictional heroes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, they get to this caravan, this wagon in the middle of the woods. And Eugene's already suspicious because it's this, you know, fortune-telling wagon.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably couldn't be happier with the way that they brought Madame Canardist and Vigor into the series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, considering the brief clip we got of them in the deleted scene from the movie, this is like all that and more. They had to expand on these characters because, first of all, they brought Vigor along for the entire episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to see more out of Madame Canardist than just, you know, fortune teller who is, you know, conning the people. And that's another thing is that if you know what Canardist means, it was a con, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Vigor was not genuinely telling fortunes, or at least here's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, where they're like, oh, fortune telling is fake. Well, yes, it is fake, but also real in that it allows the person whose fortune is being told to view their subconscious in another direction, which allows them to open up to their subconscious and, you know, just taking that information and think about it in a different way. And so they realize the answers to their problems on their own because they've, you know, they've got the answer in their head already. And I, for one, I've dabbled in tarot, and I even use it for like story writing. Because like when I'm stuck at a point, I'll do tarot spreads for the characters to see if I can figure out where this is supposed to go, and I can take it out of my head. So, it absolutely deals with your own subconscious. And so it's like, yes, it's fake, but it's also real. And so the fact that Vigor's got this little extra knack towards seeing things is kind of cool because it takes it to another level. Well,
and how cool was this for people from like us who back in like 2012 never thought that we would see these characters again, and now it's like 2018 and it's a whole animated episode about them. I just thought, I was watching it yesterday and I was like this is so cool.
It really is. Like like there was that one post on Tumblr who was talking about all the various reactions we're having. Here's the shippers' reactions to seeing a date finally, and here's the series, the Angry and Red reaction to seeing these characters again, and here's the like original movies, fan reactions to seeing these characters who were from a deleted scene. And like, this is literally, that is why I was so excited for this episode. It's because it was just giving us something that we've been, that we got poked with when the Blu-ray came out.
Yeah,
and
I remember when the poster came out. The very first thing I did was save it and then just send you the picture of Vigor or Vigor, because I was like, oh my god,
it's really Vigor.
The whole rest of the poster. I don't care about anybody else. I care about this monkey. I care about this monkey sitting on my man's shoulder.
Yeah.
Because, oh my god.
That was so freaking cool. Just lost my freaking mind. And I actually love how in the fortune-telling space within the wagon, I noticed just on this last viewing that it has a couple different references to Snow White within the wagon. Like there's this raven sitting on a skull, and I know that the raven is not attached to the skull because during that really, really awesome scene where Angry and Red were stealing Vigor, when you got the faraway view, the skull was by itself, so the raven flew away. So I'm like, so they're not attached. And then also on the table, you've got this kind of like zombie crone hand holding an apple. And you want to tell me that these two things, also the hand is kind of facing the raven on the skull. I'm like, are you going to try to tell me that these two things are not a Snow White reference in any way, shape, or form?
Maybe, maybe Steven or Anna is a big fan of Snow White, and they put it in there. Or one of the animators.
Or one of the background artists. Yeah. You know? So, I mean, but I love that. And it's just little nods here and there. It's like when they had Rapunzel's birthday dress was Belle's dress. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That was so weird.
I love that they throw little references in, or even like the references to Pocahontas in Next Stop Anywhere. Or, I mean, it's just, I love seeing these little things, and it shows that the people who work on the show are not just Tangled fans, they're just straight up Disney fans.
Yeah.
And they know their audiences also, and it's really, really cool.
And it also, it keeps with, like, normal Disney movies, putting in references.
Yeah.
Because the original Tangled had Pinocchio. There's the one that everyone likes to say is Pumbaa in the Snuggly Duckling, but I don't really see it.
It's a loose Pumbaa.
I'm like, that's just a boar.
That's not Pumbaa. Pumbaa is very, very specific looking, and that boar is not.
Yeah.
No.
It's Pumbaa's cousin.
No. But I mean, it's like, and there's like at least one hidden Mickey in every Disney movie, starting with Snow White all the way on. There's at least one hidden Mickey somewhere. And so it's like, so I love these little nods and references, and it's delightful. It's really fun to see. But yeah, so I love how also, I mean, God, I just freaking love this episode. Just like, there's like every little moment I'm like, so in this particular scene, here's the part I really love. And in this particular, so like, even though the description already told us that Angry and Red were going to be in it, the fact that they figured it out when Eugene found his comb left behind, that was like, oh, hell yeah. You know? It's like,
my God, I loved that scene of them when they steal Vigor.
Because, oh my God.
So good.
It was animated so well.
It really was.
I was like who did this? Who gets an award?
I'm going to guess, honestly, I'm going to casually guess that was boarded by Steven. Yeah. Because, like, he's an old pro at this, and so it really would not surprise me if that really dynamic scene was boarded by Steven. However, I've also heard that Anna's boards are freaking amazing. So if I found out that was Anna, I would not be surprised. Also, Amber Lee was the revisionist on this one, and that's really cool because she's been throwing up storyboards that she actually had a hand in doing the final touches on and cleaning up. And so, like, we've actually seen more boards out of her than anybody else. So, yeah, it's really cool, and I'm just so, I'm all over that scene, and I want to see every step of that process, you know? I'm like, dude, who's like, I want to know if it says in the script that this is what we would like this scene to look like.
Yeah.
Or if they just handed it off and they're like, oh, I've got this great idea. How do you think this sounds? Oh, yeah, that sounds fantastic. Do it. You know? So, and I love that this show constantly does that it will throw one little scene at us that is done in a completely different style than the whole rest of the thing. And while this wasn't a different art style, it was a different directing and camera style.
Yeah.
And so, and that whole slow motion thing, like the entire thing done in slow motion, it's just so interesting to watch. I mean, I actually am considering, like, going to make GIFs of it, but then also speeding the GIFs up really fast to see what it would look like at a normal speed.
Oh, yeah. That'd be fun.
So, yeah, it's just, that's really super crazy interesting. So Eugene finds that comb, and if I had not known that Angry and Red were going to be in this episode, I would have lost my freaking mind.
Oh, yes.
We all would have died.
Just would have lost my mind. But they were, not only did the description straight up say that it had to do with Angry, then, you know, Chris was all, oh, by the way, Angry and Red are back. Corona's darlings are back. And so that was not a secret. And so that was so freaking cool. And also, when Eugene handed the comb back to Angry, the way that she tucked it away, it kind of gave me a double impression, and this could go one of two ways. One, she straight up dropped it and didn't even realize it was gone. And then she just gave him attitude because she likes to give attitude. Two, because she was looking for her birth family, she dropped it deliberately because she had to let go of Eugene in order to go forward.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that is very, very sad.
Ow.
But she also took the comb back so readily that I'm like, she's like, oh, well, I can't just give this guy up. Apparently, he's not going to leave me alone. So.
He's your father. Respect him.
But yeah, so I mean, so I love it continues on the way to saying that, like, when Angry said that Red would not stop talking about them, I love that because it reminded me of when Willow said that Friedborg was a chatterbox. It's like they have this running gag of the really quiet characters are said to talk a lot when they're not on screen. Mm-hmm. And that's I think a cute and silly little touch to keep adding. Mm-hmm. But let's see. So yeah, so I do wish that Lance had gotten to see Red because we know how much he loves her. Mm-hmm. But
she's his fancy daughter.
She's his fancy daughter.
I was saying that, Eugene's going to go back and tell Lance, like, oh, hey, by the way, I saw Angry and Red, and he's going to be, like, so jealous.
He's going to be like, oh, you saw Red? How is she? Is she eating? Is she healthy? Is she still fancy? Is she growing?
Aw, Lance.
I love him so much. I would have loved to have seen either him get to see her or his reaction to finding out that she was seen again by someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that would have been great. I like that they are officially acknowledging each other as sisters now. It reminds me a lot of Eugene and Lance, how they're like, yeah, we're brothers. And they're like, yeah, we're sisters. And so that's really great. But now that they're officially sisters, now that Angry has straight up said that they're a package deal when it comes to adoption, I know that everybody's like pushing for Rapunzel and Eugene to adopt them, but I'd actually rather see them with Lance.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that'd be so cute.
For one thing, I don't want Lance to have Red, quote unquote, taken away from him, and I've been saying that from the start.
Agreed.
But also, Rapunzel and Eugene have the means to create their own family, be it either biological family or just adopt other kids. Because they've got all the funds in the world, well, all the funds in the kingdom to adopt children who need homes. And so let Lance have Red. Let him have her, and if he's got Red, he's got Angry also.
Yeah.
So it's not like he doesn't practically live at the castle anyway.
Yeah.
Rapunzel and her band of orphans.
Yeah. Band of orphans. She's just going to open the orphan wing, and it's not what it sounds like.
Oh, my goodness.
Also, one of the things I found particularly interesting in this episode is that from the very start, I mean, first, when this whole thing opens up, we've got Rapunzel's Freedom Bird, but Rapunzel's Freedom Bird has a mate now, and then we find out 3 seconds later that they're on a date, and I think that's just the cutest freaking thing.
Yes. Oh, it made my heart so happy!
I know. But also those butterflies showed up, and immediately I felt like those butterflies were significant in some way, and it struck me, like, first of all, my very first thought was, oh, hey, that's the same kind of butterfly that Eugene's wings are of when Rapunzel's in her happy place and she imagines fairy Eugene. That's the same kind of wings. But when the butterflies, first of all, they were so, like, prevalent in that first scene, but then they kept showing up. And so when you get to the end of the episode and Angry is standing alone, I really got the sense that her parents aren't alive anymore, which gave me the doubled up sense that the butterflies represent her parents. And I had this thought since the very first moment that I first saw the butterflies about the significance of them when they showed up again at the very, very end. I'm like, yeah, that's what I think is going on here. But then on Tumblr, Mike Hover 01 pointed out to me that at one point when the butterflies are going by, Vigor stares at them with a focused gaze, kind of like he does like at the end of the episode with Eugene, or like Angry describes when he stared at her leaf necklace.
Yeah.
And so that kind of drives that home, that if he stared at the butterflies, then he was actually finding the prediction right there in the butterflies. So, she found her family, or her family found her, and they didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And then they went on this whole little quest with, horrible thief people who got beaten up by a couple little girls, which is amazing. Amazing.
I love those.
So freaking amazing.
I love my strong girls.
Yes.
They're fast, and they're strong, and they're clever, and I love it. It's so great. But Speaking of Vigor staring at Eugene, I know
Are you all ready for this?
Yep.
We're going to now let Ellie go about this whole Dark Prince Eugene thing, because this episode, and the three of us agree, but she the most because she's got the tinfoil hat on.
Yep.
That this episode is chock full of clues that the Dark Prince Eugene theory might be correct.
Yes.
Take it away, Ellie.
Oh my god. All right. Are you ready? Okay, so I couldn't sleep that night because of all of the freaking hints. My brain was just like, everything is Dark Prince Eugene, Ellie. Everything. Dark Prince Eugene. And I was like, well, great. It's midnight. I can't go to sleep now. I stayed up till 2 a.m. and then I nearly died the next day. Because I was running on no sleep and it was too hot. I couldn't eat. It was terrible. But Dark Prince Eugene. So like there's a lot. Other people were chiming in. Gotta give a shout out to Mysterious Dream Girl, who took parts from the old scene, the deleted scene, and paired them up with the scene from the end. And she's like, these are very similar. And I'm like, yeah, they are. him giving the look, the stare to Eugene is very similar to what he does to Rapunzel in that scene, which was like, okay, why is he staring at Eugene? I mean, like, there could be many reasons why he's staring at Eugene. But,
I mean, we all stare at him, but...
Yeah. There are many reasons to stare at Eugene. There's his face, there's his butt. He's a whole package. It's wonderful.
That's not why Vigor was staring at him, though, probably.
Maybe.
No. Well, he is facing the opposite direction. He could be looking at his butt.
He was sitting on a horse.
I don't care.
Okay, and?
But yes, and then Becky, you pointed out, because someone decided to send you an ask. They were like, why do you think Eugene was stared at? And you were like, he saw his future as past. And then another wonderful human being, I don't know how to pronounce this one. It's Rapunzies, but instead of a U, it's a V. I don't know. But they pointed out that Eugene and Rapunzel are standing in front of sun and moon tapestries, and it's kind of that seems kind of odd.
I actually noticed, regarding that specifically, on my past viewing that as they're walking into the wagon, or while they're still standing outside the wagon in front of the doorway, despite the fact that it was pretty well squared, the doorway was in the center of the screen, you could see the curtain with the sun on it in the doorway, but you could not see the one with the moon. And so that kind of goes, the obvious versus the hidden.
Interesting.
That was my thoughts on that. Also, similarly, on that same screen cap they used to show the sun and the moon curtains, this could be 100% coincidence, quite honestly. It could totally be coincidence. But Madame Carnard's closed eye was on Rapunzel's side, and her open one was on Eugene's. And this is like, I think you're transferring your tin hat to me, Ellie. I really do. You're welcome. That says to me that we're not looking at Rapunzel in this scenario. We're looking at Eugene.
Yeah.
And that's what that says to me, taking the tinfoil hat off now and handing it back to you.
But yeah, so Rapunzel's the sun and Eugene might be the moon. And I know there's a lot of sun and moon iconography in, fortune-telling, tarot reading stuff already. But, I don't know. I did want to also bring up what I find to be the most compelling, which is the Wheel of Fortune card. In the episode, we are led to believe that it is about Angry, but Eugene asks Vigor to help find Angry's family, and he pays him. So I'm like, is this... I feel like Vigor might be giving this fortune to Eugene and not Angry, and they're just interpreting it a different way, because that's what tarot's all about, is interpretation. But so the Wheel of Fortune card is an interesting one because it's got 4 symbols, and these are not the normal tarot Wheel of Fortune symbols. So that's definitely interesting. It's a bag of money. It's a heart with an arrow through it. A castle and a boat. Those are all Eugene symbols. Like, if you go from money to boat, that's his old dream. If you go to heart to castle, that's his new dream. It's Rapunzel. If you look at them all together, it could also be reference to him being royal. And then, like, the eyes look very much like Edmund's angry eyes in the scene when he attacks the opal, and I'm like, weird. That's strange.
I mean, and not to take away from Dark Prince Eugene, but I will go back to what we've been saying about tarot, about it's all about interpretation, which means that there's also validation to the people who are interpreting it to be about Varian, because it's all about interpretation. It is what is in your head, because you personally are so focused on Eugene, because all three of us are so focused on Eugene. It's very easy for us to say that, oh, this is clearly about Eugene. But for the people who are focused on Varian, it's very easy for them to say, well, this is clearly about Varian. And that's the cool thing about tarot. Because, I mean, not to, grab your talk and go in a different direction, but all of the tarot cards look like they could easily be significant.
Yeah. And I did a whole in-depth post about the tarot cards as well.
I love that post. I really do, because you get to look at all the ones that we've seen so far. I mean, and there are some that are so freaking obvious, because you've got the Tower, which has the sun and the moon on it.
That has to be something.
Right? And then
it's already half something.
And then you've got the moon card, which has the comet over the top of it. I'm like, how is that not the Dark Kingdom right there?
Full on Dark Kingdom.
That's
moon,
just
opal,
full on Dark Kingdom.
All that jazz.
Exactly. And so,
it's funny because Neil was like, I was talking to him after the episode, and he's like, do you really think that those aren't just random cards? And I was like, no, they don't just do random things in this show. I'm like, everything is planned.
I think it's so funny because my sister said, I said to her something about, I bet you those tarot cards come back later. And she goes, she says, if those cards come back later, then I'm going to throw something at the wall. And I said, get your arm warmed up.
Sorry, Kelly.
It's just like, I mean, clearly, we all know, they have said before that they don't do anything without a reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so why would they give us clear views of tarot cards and have them not mean something? Yep. I love that freaking post. I'm going to request, Kelsey, that you put a link to it at the bottom of this episode so that anybody who wants to go and look at that tarot post will have something to go see. But yeah, because...
It's on darkprince-eugene.tumblr.com.
I got you. I think I
follow me for the madness. It's insanity. Welcome to my hell.
But hey, it gathers more people every week. So
yes. And I would like to point out some wonderful human being doing the Lord's work asked Zach about this, and he gave a very coy response. But I was like, how am I supposed to take that?
Right?
I messaged her. I was like, are you freaking out or are you freaking out? And she's like, I'm freaking out.
How am I supposed to interpret this, Zachary? What are you trying to say to me here? Quit being so coy.
Let me pull up the actual post real fast, just so that we can all have a little gander at what it actually specifically says verbatim.
Oh, the tarot card one?
No, the Zachary one. No problem.
Yep. I'm behind.
No worries. Even though, I was just talking about what you were talking about, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So, on Twitter, Sleeping Bookish asked him, there's a theory that says that Eugene is a lost prince. What do you think about it? And his response was, art imitating life. Plus the nail polish emoji.
Plus the nail polish emoji.
So that is extremely vague and coy. It doesn't actually answer the question. That says, what do you think about it? Well, I think that I'm a prince, is what that says. And it's like, so, yes,
that's great,
no,
Zach.
what does
I
that
don't
mean?
care. I want to know if Eugene's a prince.
So, I mean, we all know that they're not allowed to tell us anything at all.
I know.
But at the same time, that was the way that Miranova, who posted it in the first place, Miranova23, her comment on it was directly, I'm not surprised with his answer, but his answer doesn't seem surprised at the question.
Yeah.
And so that's the really key thing, because it's like sometimes they get asked questions and their response is like, what? You know?
Yeah.
And this time he's just like, nope, I'm a prince. And it's like, okay, but... So, yeah, that was... That was
supposed to take that! Oh my god. I swear, Ricky and Zach, if you're listening, you're both driving me insane. Zach, you're not listening, but Ricky is, and you're driving me insane, Ricky.
Ricky.
And I know you're enjoying it. And you're evil, but you're the best, so...
Well, see, that's the best part about Ricky, is that he is evil and he's the best. He loves breaking our hearts and making us question and making us feel all the things, which...
And murders baby Pascal.
Yes.
It's not a Ricky episode if I'm not saying "damn it, Ricky" at one point throughout the episode.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my god.
Absolutely. On a tangent, I actually relatively recently was watching the movie, and it got to the part where Eugene dies, and I literally had the thought, did Ricky write this? I know he didn't, but I now associate him with Tangled plus tragedy. So
yep. If he was on the movie, he totally would have written that. He would have been like, so wait, instead of making Eugene go blind, let's kill him. Like,
damn it, Ricky.
It'll be fine. So, we actually have the descriptions for the next 2 episodes out. We've had the one for the Keeper of the Spire for a while, and that one's going to be interesting because that one is actually a plot-based episode, which, yay, we're getting the plot. And I know we all, hunger for the plot, but at the same time, it's like... These have been fun episodes. I will say that. I really enjoyed the past 6 episodes for the most part, other than the parts that really, really, really confused me. But for Keeper of the Spire, the description is, to acquire a piece of the scroll, Rapunzel travels to an ancient museum at the top of an impossibly tall spire with the museum's incredibly arrogant curator. And somebody asked me this random question about the curator, and I don't remember the meat of my answer. It wasn't very long, but I had an aside at the end that said, and just watch, it's Demanitus or something. And now I can't get the idea that it might be Demanitus out of my head. Because we know that he's going to be in the series. His voice actor has been revealed. And so, since they just call him the curator and don't give him a name, it's up for grabs. And it would not surprise me in the slightest if we found out that this guy who could mix magic and alchemy is still alive, you know? And
I feel like he's a Nicholas Flamel kind of dude.
Yeah.
Like he's keeping himself alive with magic and also alchemy.
And the funny thing is that back when we first heard about Demanitus, I know that a lot of people were kicking around the idea of him still being alive, and I was like, no, that's ridiculous. And now I'm like, no, I don't think that's so ridiculous anymore. I actually, if it turns out to be Demanitus, I will not be remotely surprised. Within the next few days or so, they're going to start teasing us with things because it's going to be a big episode. And so we'll get follow Pascal on Instagram. It's going to be like, by the way, here's Pascal with the voice actor. By the way. And so so we're going to find out more about what's going on with that. And today we got the description for King Pascal, which a lot of people are going crazy over. They just love the idea of this episode. And the description is, tiny islanders, the Lorbs, mistake Pascal for their mystical ruler. The chameleon loves the adulation until he's expected to protect his people from a vicious monster. This is
I'm excited.
Wait. I just realized what this is.
What is this?
I think it's the Ewoks. It's the Ewoks and C-3PO.
Oh my gosh.
Right? Not surprising, because Ben Balustreri.
Star Wars fans there are on the crew. Not the least of which is Ben Balustreri, yes.
Yeah. As you were describing it, I'm like, oh
my god, yes.
Ewoks, isn't it? Because, this is a classic filler episode.
Yeah.
See this a lot. But this just, the way it's worded, and I'm like, That's Star Wars. You guys aren't even being subtle anymore. Come on.
You're not even trying.
It really makes me raise an eyebrow because you gotta wonder what kind of a vicious monster is too much for a chameleon. I'm like, it gonna be another snake?
Yeah, it's a snake.
We know Pascal and snakes, but at the same time, it's like, but is this going to be something that, like, Cassandra can just pick up and throw away? I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of tiny monster this is going to be. You know, it's going to be like a cat or something. I don't know. I'm like, okay, this is going to be like, I'm expecting a lot of, like, fun and silliness out of this episode.
Yeah.
I'm also curious how he gets into this situation in the first place. Like, does he wander away from the caravan for some reason while everybody's camping? Or, you know, just what's going on? Why is Pascal separated from the groups? And
I wonder if it's going to be kind of Tangled Ever After-ish, where, like, our main characters are not the main characters, and they're just kind of in the background, and it's like a Pascal-centric episode.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking, is that it's going to focus on Pascal in some way, and that we're going to see what's going on with the rest of the crew. I hope they're not spending the entire episode looking for him, because that heralds back to Pascal's story a little too hard. And we've had a little bit much of partially repeating stories already. So I'm ready for them to not partially repeat a story when they're repeating a story. So I'm hoping that this is not, you know, the same sort of thing. Maybe it's just everybody's taking a picnic swim break or something like that, you know?
Can they please take a swim break?
I was going to say, I can get behind the swim break. I think we're all at the same place.
I think if we... This is totally off topic. I mean, it's still about the swimming, but if we don't get to the end of this, or if we get to the end of the series and I haven't seen Shirtless Eugene, I'm going to riot. I know where you all work.
Hey, we got close with that. We got close with that deep cut thing in that sticker book we just saw.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
Nice shirt.
I'm like, can you just unbutton it the rest of the way and then take it off? Please, Disney, give me Shirtless Eugene. You can't be afraid of shirtless men. You've given us Shang. It was great. Everybody loved it. Give us more of that. Please.
You gotta remember that the target audience is lower. I
don't care if 7-year-olds are the target audience. They're not the people watching it. Huh?
Like 7-year-olds haven't seen shirtless men before.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not true. They go to the pool.
Exactly.
They have dads sometimes.
Exactly. Brothers sometimes.
Yeah.
They know what it's all about sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fair.
But to throw your tinfoil hat back on your head, I'm just going to point out that since Keeper of the Spire is a plot-driven episode that focuses on that scroll, there's a good chance of getting more fodder in Keeper of the Spire.
Yeah.
So glad I don't have to work the next day. Because I might go through another day of being like, oh god, everything hurts. I'm tired. I want to die. But Dark Prince.
I'm telling you, you've made a believer out of me. At first I was hesitant, but now every time I see something, I'm like, oh.
I would say that I have seen multiple people say things like, I don't want it to be true, but I cannot deny that the evidence is compelling. Yeah. And I think that's...
I appreciate you people because you're not being frickin' rude like some people are, and I love you.
Yep.
I'm like, it's fine. We don't have to agree. That's totally fair, but you're not being a jerk, so, you know, we get along.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, after that, we've actually got some new merch out this week, which is like, yay. While this is not specifically new merchandise, I can personally attest and vouch for the Hot Topic dress and the satchel purse.
Yes.
The satchel is so cute!
And, like, that satchel is, like, freaking amazing.
Yes.
It's so perfect.
Really love it. And it's big. And, like, once you extend the strap all the way, it is absolutely crossbody, appropriate. And so it's a dead ringer. I love it.
It's like a perfect purse to take to the parks.
It really is. Like, that's what I'm going to be doing. I mean, I love that lantern purse that I like made myself and hand dyed. But also because I hand dyed it, I'm like, I don't want to wear it out too much because I like it's precious to me. Yeah. And while the satchel is also precious to me, if it gets a little beaten up, it'll be more character. You know? And so, like, that's absolutely what's going to be when I feel like bringing a purse. That's going to be the purse I bring. I had a satchel purse that I bought from Target some years ago that was my Eugene Disney-bound purse. And that's been instantly retired. I moved all of everything that was in it, got moved into the new satchel. The new satchel is sitting in the old satchel's place on my, like, Tangled collection shelf, which is next to a frying pan and a crown, by the way. And so, like, I really freaking love that satchel, and the dress is really, really cute. I mean, it's adorable.
It matches my tattoo.
It matches my tattoo, too.
I don't have one yet.
Also,
soon. You have to join us. Be one of us. One of us.
Couple of months.
as of August 1st, the series Lego sets are out. There's 2 of them. You've got Rapunzel in her room, and you've got Rapunzel and Cassandra with the caravan.
I saw the caravan today. It's super cute. I didn't buy it, though, because I'm like, where do I have space for that? Also, it's $40, so.
See, I feel very, very fortunate. I feel very fortunate because my sister, who I talk about a lot, is also a huge Legos fan, and anything that gets me interested in Legos, she's willing to help me with. So when I mentioned to her that both sets are $60, she goes, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm going to have to save up for that. She goes, or are you? And I'm like, if you buy me those, I'm not going to reject them. I'm just saying that.
Yeah. I really want the caravan one.
Because I've already got, from the movie set, they've got the tower, and they've got this little, like, swing and cart set thing. It's really cute. It's got, like, a little tree with the Eugene Wanna poster and stuff like that. So I've got all of the movie Tangled sets. And now I'm like, I'm going to be rearranging my shelves again because I got to be getting myself those new Lego sets. They're just too awesome. I mean, and I'm looking up at my shelves right now. And every time I start talking about new merchandise, I'm like, where are things going to get moved to? Because
the caravan set has a lot of, like, it has a lot of rocks in it. It almost looked like there was, like, a processing thing or whatever. I don't know. It had, like, it was a little area that had the rocks on it, and then you could flip something, and it had a picture of the flower.
Yeah, they do things like that. They do things like that.
What in the world?
And that makes me wonder what... That, honestly, I have often said about Lego that you have to be careful with Lego because Lego can easily give you spoilers.
Yep.
So I don't know if they're trying to imply with that little thing that the rocks are the opposite of the flower, or if that's going to somehow come into play again.
Yeah.
And the other one is Rapunzel's bedroom set, and the thing I love about that set is that it's got like half a dozen of her hobbies. There's like sheet music, and there's like a telescope, and there's, you know, obviously the standard Rapunzel hairbrush station, and it's just, and there's a lantern, and like, I'm just like, I am all over these sets. They are so freaking cute.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about those. And let's see, as of this week, Amy Meverson came out with a Disney Princess comic doll set. They're all posable. It's all of the princesses, but that means that there is a Rapunzel. And I've seen pictures of her, though I have not seen her yet because
it's not all the princesses yet. It's only
it's some of the princesses and actually some of the princes also. That's unusual.
Which I'm hoping, because she said this was series 1, so I'm like, you give me that Eugene in series 2. You give me that Eugene and that short hair Rapunzel.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to say. Is like, she draws Rapunzel with short hair like about a third of the time, or did, I should say, because it's like she doesn't do the comics anymore. She's like on to other projects, and there are other people who do the art for them. But she still, when she was doing the comics, she drew Rapunzel with short hair like a third of the time. And so she does not completely ignore short-haired Rapunzel, so I'm hoping for her art to be transferred into a short-haired merchandise.
This world needs more brunette Rapunzel merch.
It really does. Like,
oh my god.
Like, I mean, I know that every now and then I'm still seeing things filtering around about, like, why does Disney ignore that she has short hair? And it's like, well, honestly, the long blonde hair is iconic, and the number one reason I can honestly think of is that people who have not seen the movie will still recognize a long-haired Rapunzel, but they won't know who the girl with the short brown hair is. Like, I can almost guarantee you that even though my aunt remembers that her hair was cut at the end of the movie, I bet if I showed her a picture of her, she wouldn't recognize her. She recognizes Eugene, which, like, super duper props to her, because I'm like, oh, you actually know who that is, and she's seen a picture of Eugene with long-haired Rapunzel. Like, no, I think it was that when season 2 was coming out, I posted the trailer on Facebook, and she watched the trailer, and then she said to me at work the next day, because we worked together, she said, I thought Rapunzel's hair got cut. And I'm like, it did. And then it grew back. It's part of the series. She's like, oh, okay. But the fact that she remembered that, I was so proud of her. I'm like, oh my gosh. She recognizes Eugene and she knows Rapunzel's hair was cut. But if a kid says that they want Rapunzel merchandise, and you have like an aunt or uncle or grandparent or somebody who's not subjected to the movie every day because that kid loves Tangled, and so the parents have obviously seen the movie every day 15 times. So that would be a very interesting task, watching it 15 times in one day.
I could do it.
Yeah, I could do it too.
Bring it on.
Could you?
No, I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but I'm just thinking about how long the movie is. And I'm could you actually
40
watch
minutes.
it 15 times?
Yeah, it's an hour and 40 minutes, so I don't know. I'm not good at math, so someone else can do that.
I'll have to math it later, but
okay.
Maybe it'll be a topic for next week. So, answer to the question. No, but so if they haven't seen Tangled that many times and they go to the Disney store to get their person Rapunzel merchandise, they'll recognize her because she's the one with the really long blonde hair. Yeah. And so I can respect that as a reason to keep giving her long blonde hair in the marketing. But the fans want the short brown hair. I mean, I know that in England right now they have re-released the short-haired bride doll, and I assume that we're going to get that in the U.S. again.
Oh, I hope so.
Yes.
It's like, I already got the short-haired bride doll, but how much you want to bet they've changed details?
Yeah.
And, like, while I don't feel like I need to have one version of every single version of the doll, because I'm like, look, I only have room for so much stuff. I don't need 12 Rapunzel 12-inch dolls, believe it or not. I will get as much brown-haired merch as I can. Yeah. Because I want them to understand that we want that.
Yeah. Oh, my God. You said 12, and I'm like, I think I have 12.
Oh, I think I literally have 12.
That's the exact amount I have.
I think I actually have 12, especially if I could count all the designer dolls.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even think about those. Okay,
I have one.
It might be more than 12 then.
I have one, and I love her.
I did the math on my phone with a calculator. Not smart. You can watch it 14.4 times in one day.
Almost 15 times. Okay, so almost 15 times in a day.
Yeah.
So that was a good random number for me to throw out.
Yeah. You were very close.
Very close. So, yeah, so we want the brunette merch. How does this always end up being us ranting about what merchandise we want? It's like, I mean, it's like how today I randomly realized that I want an album of all of Alan Menken's demo recordings for the songs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so...
Do it for feature animation, they can do it for us.
Exactly. If they can release a score soundtrack for feature, they can release a score for us, because, like I said, last podcast I was commenting about how the scenes are increasing where they have a dialogueless scene or a scene with very little dialogue and really strong score music behind it. And we're getting more of those. And so I'm like, so if we're getting more of those, why can't we get an album of that? You know, like, even if they did not give us every single scrap of music in the entire series, because that would be like 28 hours worth of soundtrack, which I wouldn't mind, but just give us all of the really, really strong score pieces. Give us, like, when Rapunzel's hair grew back. Give us when Willow and Ariana were sailing off on their glider kite thing. Give us
when they were looking for Eugene.
Exactly. That was exactly what I was just about to quote. So, like, we have a lot of really strong scenes with really great score. So let us have the soundtracks of that music. Because the mood is set by that kind of stuff. The mood is not set by the songs. The songs are few and far between. the mood is enhanced by the songs, but it is set by the music and the lighting and all that other kind of stuff. And so give us that mood back when we just feel like listening to it, man.
Yeah.
Just, like, I love the Tangled soundtrack in general, so I would just as much love the series soundtrack. I would have, like, my days at work where I would listen to literally nothing but Tangled, and then it could be expanded into even more Tangled. So
yeah,
give us more Tangled. Moral of the story.
Really, really want.
I think that's always been our motto.
More Tangled.
Finally, someone listened to us.
I know.
Nice.
Great. I love it. That's fantastic for us. Okay, so I think we're wrapping this up here, ladies. So tune in next week, guys. This has been a lot of fun talking about this episode. I know that this one is significantly longer than the past few has been because there was a lot to talk about this time. And so I anticipate, since next week is going to be a plot-heavy episode, there's going to be a lot to talk about next week, too. So stay tuned. Tune in again. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.